Hello Year 5, welcome to Monday. I'm doing something that I haven't done before, which is to give you a very short introduction to something that's going to feature in our arithmetic this week. So we're going to have a bit of a focus on fractions, and we've worked on fractions quite a lot during arithmetic at school, but I wanted to move our learning on a bit, but in order to do that I just need to share some information with you. Hopefully this isn't brand new information, but it will act as a good reminder. So the most recognisable fraction that we know probably is this. Okay, so we would say that this is 1 over 2 or 1 out of 2, or more generally we say half. Okay, so when we're thinking about fractions, we're thinking about something divided into equal parts. And if we're looking at this, we would have, say, a circle, and we would divide it in half. Now I'm going to draw that, but it's going to be a really rubbish circle because I'm doing it on the computer. Okay, we could divide it in half that way. Okay, and then we could also go across and divide it in that way. And actually, with a circle, if you were being really accurate, you could divide it in half that way and so on. Okay, but what we're saying is that we think about this as a pizza or a cake. We have got 1/2, one part out of the two. Now, if we had both parts, if we had 2 out of 2, okay, so say it was a pizza, we'd eaten both pieces. Okay, we've eaten 2 out of 2 pieces, so we have eaten one whole pizza. Okay, so when your two numbers match, that means that's the same as one whole. Okay, so that equals 1. Hopefully that is clear to you. Okay, so let's remind ourselves about what we call these numbers. So the top number we would call hopefully you've remembered the word numerator, okay, and that tells us how many parts we've actually got. And the bottom number is the denominator, and that tells us how many parts our whole is split equally into. So say, for example, if we had, I'm going to draw not a very good rectangle. Okay, if I split my rectangle in half, this would not be right because one side is bigger than the other. So when we're looking at fractions, it has to be equal parts. So we have to split it right down the middle. Okay, I always say about if you have got some money and you're sharing it with a brother or a sister or a cousin, you would not be happy if you're going to split it in half to get less than the other person. So think about fractions as splitting something equally into however many parts there are for the denominator. So in this case, we're splitting it into 2. Now, we have different kinds of fractions, so I'm going to go to a new page. So I'm going to look at this fraction. Okay, so I've got 30 as my numerator and I've got 10 as my denominator. Now that is still a fraction, but it's a particular kind of fraction, and I wonder whether anybody knows what this is called. Okay, this is called an improper fraction. So improper. Okay, and that's because the top number is bigger than the bottom number. So the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So that means we've got more than one whole here, okay? Because 10 out of 10 would be one whole. We've actually got 30, so we've got more than that. Quite often people call it a top-heavy fraction. So that means the top is heavier, it's more than the bottom number. Now, what we're going to look at today in our division questions is using our ability to divide to convert, so that means to change improper fractions to whole numbers, okay, to start with. So I'm thinking about, in order to have a whole with this fraction, I need 10. Now I'm thinking, how many lots of 10 can I get out of my numerator? So if we count in tens, and we're going to stop at 30, so we've got 10, okay, that will be one whole. And then we've got 20, so that would be another lot of 10, that would give me 2 wholes. And then we've got another lot of 10, which is 30. So we've actually got 3 whole lots of 10 out of our 30. So 30 over 10 is the same as 3 wholes. We've got nothing left over because we know if we count in tens we can get up to 30. So 30 over 10 is the same as 3 wholes. So that is what I'm looking for as an answer. Okay, and then when we're looking at this, we're thinking about the fact that actually this is okay. So when you're calculating, if you get an improper fraction, to give that as an answer is generally absolutely fine, but it will show a better understanding if you can convert it in to wholes. And then what we're going to look at later on in the week is when you've got a little bit left over, but I'll talk about that on Wednesday. So you're going to be needing to think about your denominator. That is the amount that you need to have a whole. So you're going to divide your numerator by your denominator. So say, for example, if you had, and I can't remember what your question is for today, but say for example if you had, I don't know, 15 over 5, that is an improper fraction because the top number, the numerator, is bigger. You're going to see how many lots of 5 you can get out of 15. And actually the answer again, if it's 3 lots of 5, the answer would be 3. So you're going to count up in 5s until you get to your numerator, and that will tell you how many holes. Again, if you get stuck, draw a picture like this and group it into holes. Okay, good luck.